Hello, and welcome to the Bookish Banter podcast, where we'll be sharing our opinions about our favorite books, authors, and bookish impulse buys. Follow along on our journey to finishing and sharing our endless TBR. Go ahead and subscribe, leave us a review, and follow us on our Instagram and TikTok at the Bookish Banter podcast. Let's get started. Hi, how's it going?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. I have a very special guest on today. If you want to say hello and introduce yourself.
My name is Fallon Ballard, and I have a whole bunch of books out at this point. My
Yeah.
most recent rom-com release is Toe to Toe, and then I also have my Romantasy series. And so the first book of that is out already, and it's called Something Wicked.
I love this. I love this. It's so fun that you write in like romantasy and the rom-com space. I think it's so fun to see authors kind of like flex that muscle, and we'll definitely be talking about that. Awesome. So we have some icebreakers. We'll start with those. My first question for you is, what is your favorite standalone book?
Oh gosh, that's like an
I know.
impossible
That's a really hard
question.
one.
My favorite standalone book. Okay, well, I will say the first thing that sort of like popped into my mind, going first instinct, was People We Meet on Vacation.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
great
we'll just
choice.
go with that
All right. Yeah, like listen, you just got to pick the first one because otherwise you'll be
yeah,
thinking about it forever and there's too
forever.
many books.
Yeah, so true.
Yeah, I love it. Okay, what is your favorite book series?
I would say my favorite book series is Bridge Kingdom series by Danielle L. Jensen. It's
Yeah.
like what got me into romantasy. I'm so obsessed with it. And the fourth book or the last book, the sixth book
Yeah.
comes out in like a week, and I
So
cannot
ready
wait.
for it.
So
I love
ready.
that. Yeah. I haven't read that one yet, but I do love her newer ones.
Oh yeah.
The Fate, Ink and Blood. So good. Like I
Yeah.
love, yeah, I need to get into the Bridge Kingdom though.
Yeah. Bridge Kingdom, like that first book is like there still to me is nothing else like it that I've ever read before. It's
Okay.
just so good.
I love that. All right. You're convincing me. I need to check it out.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Who is your ultimate book boyfriend? Your favorite male character?
Oh goodness. Okay. I mean, so again, my first instinct is just to say Reese, but I feel like that's such a boring answer because
A
he's
classic, if you will.
yeah, he's everybody's. I don't know. I mean, I do love Reese, but I will say too, I also really like Emily Henry's book boyfriends. I feel like any of
Mm.
them are also a safe choice. If you want somebody a little less toxic,
You
get
know,
Reese.
like, listen, I think we don't give enough credit to the rom-com book boyfriends and how like
Really?
realistic they are, one, and two, how great they are.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
that you might be able to find one of them in real life. So I love
Yeah.
that.
Yes.
Perfect. Who is your ultimate book girlfriend? Your favorite female character?
That's a great question. I feel like Alexa Martin's characters, her female main characters,
Mhm.
make me laugh so much. I think she is just like so hilarious as a person and as a writer. So
Okay.
I would go with one of her girls.
Totally fair. I love that. That's a good choice. I feel like she does a really good job of creating like same thing, very realistic characters that are like spunky and just have all kinds of different personality traits.
Yeah. And they all love The Real Housewives, which is one of my dearest loves in life. So we would get
Yeah.
along.
Yeah, totally fair. I love it. I love it. So, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got started as an author, all the fun things?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I just have always been writing. I've been writing my whole life. I definitely started to take things a little bit more seriously when I had my son. So he was about two, and I actually ended up leaving my full-time job. I was a teacher for 8 years. And so when I had my son, I left teaching, and that's when I sort of like felt a lot of my creative brain come back to me. Like
Yeah.
teaching definitely took up a lot of brain space. So when I had a little bit more free time and freedom, that's when I kind of was like, I think I want to go back to this and take it a little bit more seriously. And so I sat down and wrote a terrible book, and then I wrote another terrible book, and then I wrote another not as bad of a book. And I ended up doing Pitch Wars, which is like a a writer mentorship program that doesn't exist anymore, unfortunately.
Mhm.
And I actually got to work with Alexa Martin and Suzanne Park. And so they helped me with my manuscript, and that's how I got my agent. And then, yeah, it's sort of all unspooled from there.
Ugh, I love that. I feel such a deep sadness that like Pitch Wars doesn't exist anymore. And I feel
Same.
like there's like a huge portion of like readers and the internet that have no idea what it is.
Yeah, just how many like amazing writers came out of Pitch Wars. Like
Yeah.
there are so many people who are like now New York Times bestsellers that did Pitch Wars. It's
Yeah,
insane.
it's so cool. Like I always say it's like this is the best and the worst time to be an indie author because I feel like there's a lot of resources out there, but like that is what's missing is like the pitch
Yeah,
wars of it all and like
yeah,
being able to do that and having, just like that support. And I feel like the community kind of really came together in that time. And it's crazy. Yeah.
yeah,
Like you said, how many people are New York Times bestsellers and like friends for life and all of that kind of stuff. It's so
yeah.
cool.
Yeah, there's definitely a hole for that. And I think a lot of that is loss of Twitter because I feel like that's where all the
Yeah.
writers used to congregate.
Hmm.
And once that sort of went down the drain, and I don't feel like Threads has the same energy. I know there
No.
is like a lot of transfer there, but I feel I'm very glad that I have my people because I don't know where newer writers are going to find their people.
Yeah.
And it's a big bummer because you really need that.
I always say like threads is where dreams go to die. So I
Absolutely.
don't think it's the replacement in the same way, which is such a bummer. And it is really hard.
Yeah.
Like I think there is a loss like in the community of being able to I think it's so like divided too. It's like romantasy, rom-com, like everyone is
Mhm.
whereas before I feel like it was just if you were an author, you could kind of find your safe space there.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I love that. That's so fun. So can you give us a spoiler-free overview of Toe to Toe and what we can expect in it?
Yeah. So, I mean, sort of the short pitch is that Toe to Toe is Center Stage meets Magic Mike. It is about Allegra, who is a professional ballet dancer. She's really looking to sort of like make her big move and become a principal. You know, she's been with this same company forever and she feels like she's kind of like ready for her time. She does say that she's like the ripe old age of 27, which of course is just devastating. But ballet years are a little bit different than normal human years. And so she's come to that point where she really feels like she needs to advance her career. And her director announces that they're going to do a new show, but that the lead part in the show is somebody who needs to be able to sort of embrace their sexuality in their dancing on stage in order to play this character. And so she then gets the brilliant idea to hire Cord, who is the owner and creator and choreographer of a Magic Mike esque dance company. So she's going to hire him to give her some lessons so that she can be prepared for this audition. And yeah, I feel like we know what happens from there.
Yeah. I love it. I listen, Center Stage is like so quintessential to like the millennial upbringing. Like if you didn't love Center Stage, I don't know what you were up to.
We are not friends.
We are not friends. We are not the same. You and I did not have the same life. There's nothing we can relate to. If you do not like Bring It On and Center Stage, I don't know who you are.
Yeah, get out.
Yeah, I
Not
love
really,
that.
but just go
Just
watch the movies.
yeah, exactly. It's time to catch up, you know?
Yeah.
I love it. No, it's so fun. I think it was like such a cool concept that you had a principal ballerina as like an FMC. Like I don't think that's something we see a lot. And I loved her personality that she was like so dedicated to everything that she was doing and like she is so obsessive, but like that really is what, prima ballerinas have to be like in order to succeed. And
Yeah.
it is such like a competitive thing. And I feel like, there's this whole conversation coming up of like opera and dance being, like a dying
Mhm.
art form. And it's like I think the dedication to that is so high, maybe even above like professional sports, honestly. Like the amount of things that they put their body through and all that. And so, yeah, I was really excited to kind of read about that as having a main character in a romance book.
Yeah, Tim didn't know he was blessing me with the perfect marketing sound bite
Yeah.
during release week. But yeah, I mean, that he literally gave that interview, I think, like 2 or 3 days before Toe to Toe came out. And so
Hmm. You're like,
many people, and
yes,
myself included, used the sound in promoting Toe to Toe. So I was like, thank you for your ignorance, Tim. It really helped.
it's helpful for us all. perfect
Appreciate
marketing
you.
tool. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's so fair. I love it so much. So, how was writing this one different than your previous release? Because your release right before this was Something Wicked, which was your romantasy that we talked about a little bit ago. But what was the setup like for this? Did you like feel kind of different going into it, or was it like, okay, I have a process and we're just gonna go for it?
Yeah, I think the main difference is that like I feel really grounded in my rom-com process. Toe to Toe is my sixth published rom-com, plus several others that just didn't get published along the way. So I think with it, when it comes to my rom-coms, I really know how to get my best work on the page. Like I feel very comfortable in that world. I'm not a plotter in any way, shape, or form. So that really works for me in a rom com
Yeah.
because I feel like the characters are the heart of a rom com. And so once I know my characters very well, I sort of just like sit down and go for it.
Mhm.
And the story sort of unspools along the way. Obviously I have like a basic idea of the concept and like what their end goals are, but I
Yeah.
really like let a lot of that discovery happen in the drafting process. With a romantasy, that is much harder to do. I did try to not plot it, and that was a mistake.
Yeah.
I ended up doing multiple rewrites of Something Wicked, and then I definitely learned my lesson and have been doing a lot more plotting on my romantasies at this point. But yeah, it's obviously the hardest part, I think, of a romantasy is that you're creating this whole world from scratch. And even if you have like a reference or a touch point, like, Something Wicked is set in a world that's inspired by Moulin Rouge. So I had, visuals and I had a sort of like a loose time period to sort of like give me a basis. But for the most part, I'm making up the rules. And
Yeah.
in a lot of ways, that's freeing. But then there is, of course, the restriction that it still has to make sense. Like you can do whatever you want, but there has to be like overarching rules that like tie everything together and it all has to come together. And then of course with that being a series, there's a lot of consideration of like you want to lay the foundation in the first book but not give
Yeah.
everything away, and like what do you give and what do you hold back and how do you balance that, and that's just like not something I'm ever thinking about in a rom-com.
Yeah.
All my rom-coms are standalones, so it's like I finish their little world and then they're done and I don't
Right.
come back to
Really
them. So
fun.
yeah, it's very different, but I think
Mhm.
both really allow me to play in a very creative and fun
Mhm.
way. In a lot of ways, the rom-coms are easier because I don't have to do as much, planning and foresight
Yeah.
for it. But then at the same time, I feel like at this point in time, the rom-com market is so crowded that like
Mhm.
to make a rom-com sell, it really has to stand out. And so there's a lot of pressure to, do something different and make it stand out. And how do you do that and, make it a bestseller? And that's impossible to figure out that formula.
Yeah, like if there was a secret formula, we would know it
Right.
by now. No, and that's so cool that you say too, like that you don't plot your romances so much so, and then you had to like with the romantasy. And I think like I mean, writing is a craft, it's a skill, and you have to hone that. And like dipping into these other genres, like I said, it's so cool to see authors do it because I feel like, it's flexing a muscle you guys maybe haven't flexed in a long time, or just like getting to do something that's so out of the norm for you, where like the rules are in place for a normal world, but then here it's like you have to tell people what the rules are, and then you're like, okay, how do I remind myself that I have to tell them the rules? And like, yeah, exactly what you
Right.
said. You don't want to give too much away, but then at the same time, you're like, it has to be enough that they're like intrigued by whatever the
Yeah,
mystery is. And like that is so
totally.
much. Like it really is. I like commend
Yeah.
you for being able to go through that and then also trying to do it without like plotting it all out first and just going on
Yeah.
vibes is like so impressive.
Yeah, I would not recommend that
Yeah.
to anyone else. And I definitely did a lot more work. Like I'm
Hmm.
never going to be the kind of writer that like does a full outline. Like I know people
Yeah.
that have like 30-page outlines and like that is never going to be me. But I definitely sat down and did a lot more planning with the subsequent
Yeah.
romantasy.
You're laying the foundation with the first one. You can plot the next few. It's totally fine.
Totally. Gonna be fine. It's gonna
It'll be
be
fine.
fine.
You had a really great concept for that one too. So I feel like like you said, it's nice to kind of have a world semi-built on it and then to just like
Yeah.
build off of that is such a fun and like creative thing to do too. And like
Yeah.
how many nods do you give and all that stuff. So I love it.
Yeah. It was cool. And it was like I could Google things like because Moulin Rouge in the movie is set in like 1899. And so
Hmm.
I could be like, oh, do they have indoor plumbing in 1899? And then I
Yeah,
could be like, well, actually, in my world, they do have indoor plumbing because I'm not messing with them not having indoor
that's
plumbing.
right. This is one of the times where it's fun that you get to make the rules.
Yes. I was like, actually, I don't care about historical accuracy. That's not what we're going for here. So we'll just have running water.
Yeah, this isn't a historical romance. This is a romanticy.
Yes.
I love that. So what kind of drew you to the romance genre in the first place?
Yeah. I mean, actually, so when I first sat down to write a book and kind of take it seriously, I wrote a YA dystopian. And good Lord, I don't know what I was thinking. I mean, I guess to be fair to myself, I was just coming from teaching junior high.
Hmm.
So that age group was definitely like living in my brain still.
Yeah.
But I got to the end of it and I was like, wow, the only parts of this that are fun are the kissing parts. And perhaps that is where I should be putting my attention.
I see it.
And I obviously have been a romance reader my whole life, pretty much. And so I was like, this feels like a little bit more of a natural fit. And
Mhm.
once I wrote my first rom com, I was like, oh, I'm never
Going
going
back.
back to anything
Yeah.
else. Like, even if I do stray into other genres, like that is always going to be the heart of it. Cause that to me is the fun stuff and not just like the sex and the kissing. Like obviously those are fun things too. But like
Mhm.
I think the development of a relationship and watching two characters fall in love is to me like that's
What
what
is the
I want
fun?
to read. And so that's what I want to write.
Yeah, yeah. It's like the tension, you know?
Yes.
Yeah. And I think it's like
Banter.
yeah, I was just gonna say the banter. You do such a great job with banter and like building up these like comedic, funny moments and like making these characters feel so real. And yeah, I'm glad you're in the romance genre because you do such a good job at it.
Thank you. It's fun. You get to sort of like, play a little bit. It's
Mhm.
it's very much just like what we were doing when we were kids,
Yep,
when we had our little Barbies and our Kens and, you're smashing their faces together.
that's right.
Except now there's a little more to it and I get paid for it. So that's way better.
What a time to be alive, you know? What a win.
Seriously.
I love this so much. So, where did you get the inspo for the professional dancers as your main characters, other than the center stage of it all? Or if that was it, then tell us more.
I mean, actually, the inspiration came from the third Magic Mike movie,
Okay.
which I, of course, went to see in theaters the moment it was released. And I mean, truly, like the last, like almost half an hour of the movie is their like show that they do
Hmm.
at this London theater that they're in. And the final number is Channing Tatum and a ballerina, and they have this dance together, and it like rains on stage, and it's like so hot and so sexy and like so romantic. And I was like, oh, this is a book.
Yeah.
And I just happened to, right around that time, I was listening to this podcast that's called The Turning Point Room of Mirrors,
Hmm.
that is all about the New York City Ballet, which was created by George Balanchine. And so it was like a really deep dive into. He was Russian, so like him coming over from Russia and like creating the ballet and like how ballet became like a big thing in America when it was like mostly in Europe in the early days of it. And it was just like a really fascinating podcast. And so those two things sort of just like converged in my
Hmm.
mind. And so the Magic Mike part of it came pretty easily. I did a lot of research into the ballet of it all because I really just wanted to nail Allegra's perspective. And so I read a lot of autobiographies from professional ballerinas. And really, honestly, like TikTok was so helpful for the research part of this book because there's
Yeah.
tons of professional ballerinas on TikTok and they do like a day in the life video, or this is what I eat for breakfast every day. And I was like, oh, these are like the actual little details that I think make a big difference when you are writing a character who does something totally different from what you do on a daily
Yeah.
basis. It's like being able to have those glimpses of like their actual real lives
Hmm.
was so, so helpful. And I drew a lot from a lot of their information.
That's so cool. I love that you use TikTok as like inspo and to find out info because it is like a wealth of knowledge, you know? It's like the new
Totally.
YouTube and
Yeah.
like the little like short bits and pieces. And I feel like you're right, exactly that is like having those details is what makes it feel really authentic. And like for people who are ballerinas who are reading it are probably like, yeah, this is very similar to like what I do on a daily basis. Or like maybe the girls that, you were pulling inspo from Reddit,
Yeah.
which would be really cool.
Um, I have had a couple people who have reached out and they're like, "Oh, I'm a professional dancer. I can't wait to read this book." And I'm like, "Oh God." I'm like, "Don't tell me if everything is all wrong."
Yeah, yeah. I did what I could, okay? And that's
Yeah.
that's what you guys get.
I'm like, suspend your disbelief. We still
Yeah.
have romance reasons happening.
Listen,
things are
it's
going things are
yeah.
going wrong and it's fine. Just don't let me know.
Yeah, it's inspired by, it's not a direct replica, okay?
Exactly.
I love that. So, who has been your favorite couple that you've written so far? You've written quite a few.
Oh
Not
gosh.
to put you
I
on the
mean,
spot,
it
but
honestly changes like
fair.
depending on my mood and the time of day and where I'm at. I
Hmm.
do think that like there you go through like different moods with them depending on like where you are with the writing process. Like so Sadie and Jack from Lease on Love, which was my first book, like I worked on that book in 2021. So I just like am so far removed from them that I'm just like,
Yeah.
oh,
Oh.
sweet babies. Whereas Cord and Allegra actually didn't give me a lot of trouble, but
Hmm.
sometimes they do give you a lot of trouble while you're writing, and you're just
Yeah.
like, by the time you're done with the book, you're like, I don't want to talk to you
I'm
ever
I'm done with you
again.
now.
I'm sick of you.
Yeah.
But I had a lot of fun with Cord and Allegra. I think Emmy and Grayson from Right on Cue might be
Mhm.
my favorite though. They have so much sexual tension and great banter, and I love a celebrity romance. Just as somebody who was born and raised in Los Angeles,
Yeah.
like I just feel a very deep connection, even though I have no part of it into like the movie
Yeah.
world. And so that one was really fun to just kind of like get into that make believe of it all and live their story. And also Grayson is probably I mean, most of my men are very soft boys, but Grayson is the one who gives a little bit more attitude than the rest of them, which I find fun. So
Yeah.
love them.
I love that. We need a sassy boy who gives us just a little attitude.
Yeah, need that sometimes.
Yeah, that's so fun. I think I do love the celebrity like aspect of it. I feel like especially when it's like romanticized in a book, I'm just gonna imagine that this is exactly how they are. So, and
Yeah,
it's so
for
out of this
sure.
world, and I just love it so much. Especially you like living in LA, like that's so fun.
Yeah, it was a fun one to play with because I feel like that's something that like is a universal experience.
Yeah,
Like we've all had a celebrity crush and we've all thought about like what would happen if they look out from the stage and fall in love with me,
right,
and we live
exactly.
happily ever after together. And so those are fun worlds to play in.
I am here. I am ready. I am available.
Yeah,
This
like
is my
call
dream.
me.
Yeah,
I've been married for 15 years. That's fine. It doesn't matter.
does
Call me
not
Chris
matter.
Hemsworth.
We're one Comic-Con away from a different life.
100%.
Yeah. I love it so much. So, was it easy for you to kind of come back into the rom-com after writing Romantasy and being in that world for so long? Although I'm sure you're like drafting book two while all of this is going on. So, you're probably
Yeah.
doing both at the same time.
Yeah, there definitely was a lot of overlap, but
Mhm.
honestly, it felt like a breath of fresh air because it's so easy in the romantasy to get like bogged down in the
Yeah.
details of it all and the world building and all of that stuff that I don't find very fun and you just sort of have to do. And Cord and Allegra really I had like a very clear vision of who both of these characters were like from the very beginning. And
Yeah.
so there wasn't like a lot of struggle in writing their book, which is nice and that obviously doesn't always happen.
Yeah.
So it felt like kind of like, this is I'm getting back to something that like I know and I feel comfortable with. And like anytime you're doing anything new, like there was so much imposter syndrome with
Mhm.
Something Wicked and just so much like self-doubt and should I even be doing this? And is everybody going to hate this? And so it felt nice to have a little break and be in a world that I was like, okay, this I know I can do.
Yeah. It probably feels really nice to like come back into it, but I also feel like it makes your romantasy stronger, being able to like go back and forth between the two and being like, okay, I do know I can do this, and now I'm gonna go back and
Yeah.
I'm gonna finish edits on like book two, and then like I'm feeling good, So it's like
Yeah.
it probably is really working those muscles for you, but it is a lot of work.
Yeah. That's a good perspective, actually. I think I need to apply that a little
Yeah.
bit
Like,
to
listen,
my brain.
you got through this one. Now go
Yeah.
on and like, and it was successful, and you did like such an amazing job. And so yeah, it's like going between the two is probably really hard, and like switching off that part of your brain. But it's nice. You went through the one that you know how to do, and now you're going back to edits and finishing book two, and
I can
yeah.
do it.
I believe in you.
Thank you.
I love it. So you have an absolutely wonderful podcast, Happy to Meet You. Can you tell us a little bit about that, how that got started, what people can expect from that?
Yeah, so I co-host Happy to Meet Cute with Courtney Kay, who is my dearest writer friend. Our debut books came out the same year, so we both debuted in 2022, so we kind of got connected that way. And I literally just slid into her DMs one day and I was like, I want to start a podcast. Do you want to do it with me? And she was like, oh my God, yes. And because we are the way we are, like the next day she had like spreadsheets of like this is everybody we can have on, and I had like picked out the podcasting platform we were going to use, and we had like a whole thing. But when we sat down and we were like, what do we want our podcast to be, we kind of decided that obviously we were going to talk to all of our lovely writer friends who we love so
Mhm.
much, and talk to them about books and about writing, but also just about the like totally ridiculous things that they're into that have nothing to do with writing.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times we don't get to talk about like those outside interests.
Yeah.
So it's super fun. I mean, we've talked about like, I mean, every reality TV franchise under the sun. We have talked
Yeah.
about, Broadway. We've talked about Trader Joe's. Like, we've talked about just like the most random, totally unique topics. And it just like, it gives me so much joy because I love, like, writing can be like a very solitary endeavor. And most of the time, it's just you and your computer. And to be able to talk to other writers and like share experiences with one another is truly like the greatest part of my day, and I just get so much joy from doing that. We slowed down a little bit. We went really hard in the first year, and then we were both like, this is too much. So we
It's a
have
lot of work.
pulled back, but I still just love it. Like our most recent episode, we talked with Mia Sosa, who is
Mhm.
like just an absolute dream. We had so much fun, and we just like laugh so much because there's just nonstop shenanigans
Yeah.
and tangents, and we love it. It's super fun to do.
Yeah, I love that. I love that you say like writing is such a solitary experience because I feel like people kind of forget that. Like
Yeah.
you don't have anyone else that's doing the same thing that you're doing
Yeah.
because they're not writing like your same book. And I'm just like obsessed with the fact that you guys all get to like get on and yap and then also talk about like the things that you really care about, which is universal. Trader Joe's, Broadway, reality
Yeah.
TV are universal loves.
100%. It's my favorite. I mean, I'm like the reality TV junkie
Mhm.
of the pair of us. So anytime somebody like we send each author like a little interest form of like,
Yeah.
what's like a thing you want to yap about that's like current and like in the moment. And anytime somebody's like, let's talk about this show, I'm like, yes.
Just in
Done
the
and done.
moment.
I'm so excited. I can't wait. I need to find somebody who wants to come on Happy to Meet Cute and talk about Summer House with me.
Yeah.
And I just like I need an outlet for like all of my unhinged thoughts.
Yeah, listen, like, yeah, you have to find people that love the same ones as you. It's just like, what do? You can't just watch reality TV and have no one to talk to about it.
Right.
What is the
Yes.
point?
Can't do that.
No. I love that. That's so fun. I feel like it's really cool too, because you guys all, like, all the authors that you talk to are vaguely in the same vein, but also you talk to like comic book writers and like, YA and all those things. And it's just like the cozy, comfy vibes is so great.
Yeah, we love it. And I love talking to writers from other genres too,
Hmm.
because they always just have like a different insight and a different experience. And that's
Yeah.
always so cool to hear.
Oh, I love that. So, do you have any advice for any aspiring authors?
Yeah, I mean, I will say my go-to advice, and unfortunately, I don't have where to actually do this. My go-to advice is to find your community.
Hmm.
And again, that is
Yeah,
extremely difficult in this day and age. And I
fair,
don't
fair.
know, I don't know where to do that. But
Mhm.
um it there are ways, and it is so essential. And I think what's important is finding people who you click with, like on a
Mhm.
personal level, but also people that have like similar goals and
Yeah.
aspirations and are at a similar place. You know, so if you're querying, you want to find other authors who are also querying. And if you're on submission, you need to find other authors who are on submission.
Yeah.
And if you're a debut writer, once you hit that debut stage, I feel like it's much easier to find your community. Then there's usually like groups and things that you can join. But it's just like you have to have those people. I mean, I still last week was like texting two of my writing friends and being like, I'm losing my mind. Like,
Help.
help me, fix my problems. It's such a unique experience, and you really need people who understand what you're going through. And so I don't have a lot of advice about how to go about getting that community,
Okay.
unfortunately, but it is very important. And I think the other thing that you just have to remember is that, like, you have to really love the writing. Like, nobody is going into publishing because they're like, this is going to make me so much money. And if that's what you're thinking, you are
Yeah,
wrong and you should stop because
that's
that's
right.
not going to work out the way that you want it to. So you have to love the writing because that's what you have to come back to. When everything else is terrible and awful, you have to find the joy in the writing and the storytelling. And so if it's not joyful for you now in the beginning,
Hmm.
like, this is not for you and find something else. So that maybe is not doesn't sound super positive, but I think as if you are in that place and you're like, I do really love the writing, then you
Hmm.
have to just kind of like push through everything else
Yeah.
and keep that joy at the heart of what you're doing.
Well, I think like the other thing too is like if you're doing this for the wrong reasons, like your readers will be able to tell, like you have to be passionate about this
Yeah.
stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always say, like, I can tell when I'm reading a book, I can tell if the author was having fun
Hmm.
while they were writing. And that's not to say that, like, I mean, I definitely have parts of all of my books where the part that I was writing was not fun while I
Yeah.
was writing it. But, like, overall, I have fun with the experience of it. And I know that as a reader, I can always tell when that is the case for the writer. And I think that that always comes through. If you are finding joy in the project that you're working on,
Mhm.
the reader is going to be able to feel that.
Absolutely. And like I think again, like you said, that's what's going to help you push through and make it to
Mm-hmm.
the finish line and like keep going past that because it's like you can have one brilliant idea and be like, I feel really passionate about like this one thing. You put the book out
Yeah.
and then you're like, how do I make a career out of this? Which is
Right.
a little plays in a little bit of like the money aspect, but it's like you have to be like passionate about like the process and like the craft and like what
Totally.
goes into it because otherwise, yeah, it's like one, your reader can feel it, and two, you're gonna get stuck way sooner than later. And it's an artistic career, like you have to make it feel
Yeah.
fulfilling. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
And
great
like,
advice.
just to be totally straight up, there's a lot about
Hmm.
traditional publishing that sucks a
Yeah.
lot of the time. And so if you're not having fun with the creative part of the process, then you're in big trouble because the business part of the process can really be a downer. So you got to
Yeah.
find your joy in the creative part.
Yeah, it is. I mean, like, listen, it's still a business at the end of the day, and like there are a lot of things that go into it, but it's like the things that you can control are like building a community that's there to help you. So I think that is like wonderful advice. Where to find that, you're on your own, kid. But I love that
For
you said
sure.
it. And then yeah,
Yeah.
like kind of keeping the passion alive is definitely something that's gonna get you through to the next round. And it just makes it more fun to market and like talk about your book and like put it out there. And
Totally.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, like toe to toe, I mean, and I did less in terms of like touring and events that I
Hmm.
have done in the past for toe to toe, but like I loved everything I did for this book because I love talking about it because
Yeah.
I'm like, this book is so fun. It's Center Stage meets Magic Mike. Like, please let me talk about
Name
dancing
something better.
and male entertainers for hours on end.
Yeah, absolutely. Name a more fun topic. I'll wait.
Yeah. I made these bookmarks that are it just says six packed, which is the name of like the Magic
Mhm.
Mike troupe, but like each letter is like a different set of a guy's abs. And so I was like,
Incredible.
this is my job. I had to like sit there and look through pictures of hot abs and like pick out the ones that I
Uh-huh.
wanted to use for this bookmark. And I was like, this is the greatest thing I've ever done in my life
Listen,
is
I say this all the time. I'm like, this is so not real. Like, what are we doing? We're like, I'm looking at
yeah,
stock photos of like people kissing, like not
yeah,
sultry enough, you guys, and this is my
yeah.
job.
I'm like, I need a little bit more on definition on those abs. So we're
That's
gonna
right.
look to the next one, and I was like, this is my job.
This is my job. Yeah, it's so fun though. I love it. So Toe to Toe just came out, but what's next for you?
Okay, so my next thing is What Light Breaks,
Okay.
which is the second romantasy. So we are in the same world. We do have a different couple in this book. So we are shifting focus there. You met the hero for a brief time in
Okay.
book one in Something Wicked. And I think if you got to the end of Something Wicked, you probably know who the female main character is. And it's actually up on NetGalley. It just went up on NetGalley. So if you are a
Exciting.
NetGalley reader, you can go request the arc. I just did the cover reveal. I'm so obsessed with it. That comes out December 29th. And then I don't know for sure when my next rom com will be out. It'll probably be March of next year. So it'll be early next year. And it is called Come Away With Me. And it is a Europe road trip.
I
So
love
another one that I
this.
was like, this is the best research I have ever had to do in
What
my
if we
whole
have to
life.
go to Europe for this? Oh no.
I was like, oh, I'm gonna have to take the book on a little road trip. Oh
Oh
shoot,
no.
bummer.
It's a write-off, you know?
Yeah, it's 100% a write-off.
Oh my
So
gosh.
yeah, that one is super fun.
I love that. Ah, those are all bangers, left and right. I love it. That's
Yeah,
really fun. Absolutely something to look forward to.
yes. I'm very excited.
Yeah. So you just finished up the tour for this one, but are you headed to any conventions? Do you have any other tour stuff scheduled for later this year?
I'm kind of keeping it light this year because I did a bunch of stuff in February. I did Romantasy BookCon in
Mhm.
LA in February, and it was my first time going to that one, obviously. And I was like so overwhelmed in the
Yeah.
best possible way. It was so much and it was so amazing. So I'm kind of taking it a little bit chill. I am going to be at the LA Times Festival of Books,
Excellent.
which is coming up on April 18th and 19th. So I have two different signings, one on each day, which will
Fabulous.
be on my Instagram. And then I think that's kind of what I have planned so far for this year. Who knows what the fall is going to
Yeah.
throw my way, but that'll be the last kind of like big thing that I do for a while.
Oh, how exciting. I love that. I'm very
Yeah,
excited. I too am going to LA, so I'm very,
love it.
very excited to go.
It's like one of my favorite things. And I actually I used to volunteer.
Oh my
So like
gosh.
I volunteered in like 20, I think I did 2016, 2017, and 2018.
Hmm.
So when I was like starting to take writing a little bit more seriously, but well before I was in Pitch Wars or anything like that.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of wild that I get to
Yeah,
like
really full
last year I was on
circle.
a panel at LA Times Festival Book, and I was like, this is like surreal. Like
Yeah.
I was wearing a volunteer shirt here
Yeah.
like a
You're like,
few
I
years
have made
ago,
it.
and now I'm sitting next to Jasmine Guillory. Like, what is my life?
Everybody calm down.
Yeah, it was
Oh, that's so
crazy.
fun. I love it. No,
Yeah,
that's very full circle for sure.
yeah, it was awesome.
Awesome. Okay, well, I have one last question for you, and then we'll wrap it up if you have anything else. But where can everybody find you on the bookish interwebs?
So I am pretty much, I mean, I guess I'm on Instagram and TikTok. I would say, and I'm Fallon Ballard everywhere. Fallon only has one L. But like Instagram is definitely the place to like keep up with the updates. That's where
Mhm.
like all my stuff, dates, signings, all of that stuff gets posted.
Okay.
I have a very tiny following on TikTok, which means that I can say whatever I want. And so I do. And so if you want my unhinged thoughts and opinions,
Yeah,
TikTok is the place to go to that. If
fair.
you only care about the more professional things, then Instagram is the way to go. And obviously, if you want both, you can get both.
I love it. I love that. That's so fabulous. Awesome. Well, that was all the questions I had for you. Did you have anything else you wanted to share? Any other questions you had?
Oh, no. Thank you so much for having me. I love yapping about books, obviously. So this is always such a fun thing to get to do.
Yeah, I was very excited to chat. I was like, I love this. I love this book. I loved all of your other ones. So I was very excited to
Thank
talk.
you. Thank you so much. And thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. But
Okay.
thank you.
Thanks.
Bye. Thank you guys for tuning into this week's episode. Hope you enjoyed it. If you aren't following us, go ahead and follow us on TikTok and Instagram at the Bookish Banter Podcast. Please make sure to subscribe and leave us a 5-star review. And thank you guys again for all of your support. Have a great day.